What is good, everybody? It's your boy Moise, and today I'm back at the Rideshare Hub. It is a beautiful day out here in New York City, but not so beautiful for the Uber and Lyft drivers that are currently on the road. Why, you might ask? Because not only am I not waiting for a ride, I'm waiting so that I can wait for a ride. I might have lost you there, but if you're from New York City, you know exactly what I mean. TLC has now forced Uber and Lyft to pass certain rules that prohibit and restrict drivers from driving whenever and wherever they want. Uber and Lyft drivers in New York City no longer have the freedom to just go online and start working no matter where they are or what time it is. Now, in order to work in New York City, you either have to reserve time beforehand, you either have to be a priority driver, or you have to be in a busy area. And if you don't fall into those three categories, Uber and Lyft will literally not let you go online. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing certain strategies to help New York City Uber and Lyft drivers maximize their earnings and maximize their potential on the road. But before I start talking about all of that, I need you guys to do me a huge favor and hit this video with a huge thumbs up. And make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, because if you are an Uber or Lyft driver, if you are interested in the rideshare community, if you want to be a driver, if you are a passenger, man, if you're a freaking human being, go and hit that subscribe button right now. Also, do me a favor. I am a personal development expert. I teach mental health, physical wellness, spiritual growth, financial freedom. So if you are interested in any of those qualities, or you are interested in becoming a better version of yourself, you are interested in personal development, make sure you check out my YouTube channel, linked in the description below. I also have linked in the description below an app called Upside. Upside is a really dope app. It gives you cash back on all your gas. So if you are a rideshare driver, it is a smart thing to do. It is a smart thing to download, because considering the amount of gas that we use, you will receive a ton of money back at the end of every month or year, or however you decide to take it. But so far, I've only been using the app for about 2 months, and I've already gotten $40 back in cash back. So if you are a rideshare driver or you drive regularly, make sure you download the app using my link in the description below. Now let's get into the video. So we're gonna start the video off by breaking down the Uber app first. Now, I believe Uber gives you about 11 hours every single week to reserve, and as you can see, this is the timeline of every single day. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. is already full. 6 a.m., like, you can see that it's pretty much open for you to go ahead and reserve the times that you want to reserve. The ones that are highlighted are the times that I've reserved already. Now, as you can see, I've reserved 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and 12 a.m. Why do I reserve these times? I think it's very important to be strategic about what times you are reserving. I am a morning driver. I start working at around 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. latest, but I know that at that time there are not that many drivers on the road. I also know that that is the time where people are going to the airport. It's a busy time. You're pretty much guaranteed to get work that early. So you have to be careful and smart about what times you're reserving. As you can see, a lot of people have reserved 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. already. They're both pretty much full, which to me makes absolutely no sense unless you're like living in Queens or something. Because if you wake up at 4 a.m. or you're starting work at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. and you come to Manhattan, they are going to let you go online. They are going to let you work. So for you to use that reserved time at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., you're pretty much wasting it. What I like to do is reserve the times where I know work is going to start to get slow. So I know 6 a.m. is a busy time, 7 a.m. is a busy time, 8 a.m. is a busy time, 9 a.m. is a busy time, 10 a.m. is when everybody starts to, get into work and pretty much get started on their day, and work starts to die out. So I pretty much work from 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. without reserving any time. But as soon as it's starting to slow up at 10 a.m., I have my guaranteed hour that kicks in, so Uber does not sign me off, and I continue work. You also have to be very strategic about what area you're in, right? So the busy areas in New York City that pretty much let you go online most of the time are East Village, Williamsburg, Greenpoint, Long Island City, the areas where the most people live and there's the most people using Uber and Lyft, right? I'm sure every city has their own busy areas. So if it is 9:57 a.m. and I am in Williamsburg, I should pretty much do this. I should remove the reserve time, and now I have 1 more hour to reserve, but I'm in Williamsburg, and I know that they're not gonna sign me out because I'm going to get work regardless. I get to save an hour of my reserve time, but I also get to continue working. Now, the reason it's important to try and keep up with this is because you only get 11 reserved hours a week, which honestly sucks. Like, 11 hours is not enough to work whenever you want and maximize your time on the road. So if you are in an area where you know Uber and Lyft is not going to sign you out, then take off your reserve time, remove it, and save that hour for another time that you might need it. Again, the reason that this is so important to do is, for example, today it's Sunday. I've already used up all my reserved hours in the week because I was lazy and I didn't want to keep up with removing them and putting them back in and etc. So now here I am on a Sunday sitting, waiting for it to get a little busier because I can't start working because I don't have any more reserved time. So as far as Uber goes, make sure that you remove your reserve times if you're in areas that are already busy. Make sure you don't use your reserve times for timings that you know are going to be busy as far as work goes anyway. It's important to use these reserve times in ways that are going to be able to allow you to work in places and at times that you know Uber normally does not let you work. These reserve times should be for the areas that you know Uber won't let you work. Don't use these times for the timings that you know are busy or in the places that you know are busy, because you're wasting them. And considering how Uber and Lyft has been in New York City and considering how much rules TLC is placing on us, we have to be very strategic about how we use these times. Now let's move on to Lyft. In my opinion, I think Lyft is the better platform to be working on in New York City. I think Lyft has a lot more work to offer. I think money is easier to make on Lyft, and I also feel like Lyft passengers normally tip better, but that just might be me. Now, as you can see that on the top, Lyft does not even let me sign on. There's a lock there. It says demand is too low, swipe up for the best times to work. You know, and then it says this, but honestly, this is all irrelevant. Now, as you can see right here, it says go online anytime, anywhere. This means that you are a priority driver. If you give 180 rides and keep a 90% acceptance rate for a whole month, then you are a priority driver. Now, I think this is probably the best route to go. You should work on becoming a priority driver in New York City for Lyft. Now, what this means is, and the reason why Uber and Lyft have both went their separate ways and done this, is because I think that Lyft says, if you want to work with us, then work with us full time, become our personal driver. And Uber feels the same way. Uber says, if you want to work with us, come and work for us. Stop working for other companies and dedicate your time to us. I think that if you are a black driver, which I am, it makes more sense to work with Uber and just stick with them. And if you are a regular Uber or Lyft driver, then Lyft has a lot more work to offer. Work on becoming a priority driver with Lyft. Now, even though I drive black, I still drive X and Lyft sometimes, depending on how black work is going. But I think I like Lyft better because Lyft is more predictable in when and where they're going to let you go online. Now, if you're in East Village, Lyft usually lets you go online. If you're in Williamsburg, Lyft usually lets you go online. If you're in Greenpoint, if you're in Long Island City, if you're in West Village, if you're by Lincoln Center, if you are not Midtown, they usually sign you out. If you are in Carroll Gardens, if you are in Kew Gardens, if you are in Brooklyn Heights, basically you get the point. If you're in a busy part of the city, which, you know, basically is all of downtown Brooklyn, it's all of downtown Manhattan, then Lyft is going to let you go online. What I normally do with Lyft is I try to drive to the areas where I know I'm going to get a decent ride. Now, one tip that I will give everybody as far as Uber and Lyft goes is to exercise your right to cancel rides. Do not let these rides take you to places where they are not going to let you work. And I know that's kind of messed up to the passenger, but at the same time, we're drivers on the road and we need to maximize our potential. And by doing this, we kind of show Uber and Lyft that, yo, like, you guys got to treat us right, because we're not just going to work and do whatever you guys want us to do when you're taking away our freedom. Now, what do I mean by cancel rides? I know personally that if you end up in Flushing or if you end up by JFK, you're not gonna get work. You're gonna get locals, for maybe 2 or 3 locals, and then work is gonna completely die out for you. If you end up somewhere, you end up by Ozone Park, you're not gonna get work. So basically what I'm saying is, try not to end up in places where you know Uber and Lyft are not going to let you work, and it's going to take you about 30 minutes to an hour to get back into the city, and basically it's going to waste time for you. Like I said, I know it's messed up to the passenger and you shouldn't cancel rides on passengers, but at the same time, we're drivers and we need to maximize our time on the road. Nobody wants to be on the road and not have a passenger in the car and not be making money. So when we start canceling, it shows Uber and Lyft that, hey, drivers aren't responding well to the fact that we're limiting them so much on the road. So maybe we should give some type of guarantee that if they're in these areas, we'll give them rides to bring them back into the city, or I don't know, something. But at the end of the day, if you end up in areas like Flushing or Ozone Park, or you know, one of these dead neighborhoods, then you're pretty much killing yourself, because they're going to take you offline right away, and then it's going to take you about 30 to 45 minutes to get back into the city. Another thing that you should keep in mind is to try and end up in areas, or try to go to areas that are going to take you to other good areas. Now, what do I mean by this? I know that if you go to Carroll Gardens, chances are you're either going to LaGuardia, you're either going to JFK, or you're coming into the city. These are common things that I think every Uber and Lyft driver should know. If you're in East Village, it's going to either take you to Uptown, it's going to be a local, it's going to take you to JFK, it's going to take you to LaGuardia. Basically what I'm saying is, you have to figure out what areas in New York City are good areas that lead you to other good areas. I think that every single place in New York City is tied to another place, like Astoria. If you're in Astoria, Queens, you're most likely getting a ride into Midtown or downtown Manhattan. If you're in downtown Manhattan, you're either getting a ride to uptown Manhattan, or you're getting a ride down to Brooklyn. If you're in downtown Brooklyn, you're getting a ride back to Manhattan. These are common things that every driver in New York City should know, especially at this point, considering that if you're not being strategic on the road, if you're not planning and evaluating how you're going to spend your day, then you're not seeing as much money as we were once seeing. So guys, this video is a reminder to make sure that you use your reserve time for Uber very well. Try and work on becoming a priority driver for them if you are a black driver. If not, then work on becoming a priority driver for Lyft. I believe that Lyft is the better platform for the average driver. Lyft gives you a lot more work. Lyft still has destination filters, which Uber no longer has in New York City. So do yourself a favor and become more strategic on the road. If you plan to continue being a driver in New York City, make sure you are using your reserve times correctly. Make sure you are ending up or going to neighborhoods that are going to give you good work, and make sure you're not trapping yourself by ending up in places that are not going to let you work and basically waste your time on the road. Anyways, I hope this video helps you guys in maximizing your potential on the road. I hope this video helps you guys make more money. If you enjoyed this video or you learned anything from this video, please give this video a huge thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you check out my YouTube channel. Make sure you download Upside and get cash back on your gas. And most of all, make sure you stay updated with the Rideshare Hub. Peace, everybody.